Hello fellow anglers. There are a lot of different color fishing lines out there, and I was wondering which one is best and hardest for the fish to see. So what I did was I put a bunch of different color and types of fishing lines on this little contraption and took it down in the ocean with me. Here's what I found. Looking down at the line in clear blue water at the bottom of the ocean with the ocean floor contrasting, I learned that the red and the brown 7-strand and the orange braid were the easiest to see. Now, interestingly, some manufacturers claim that red line disappears underwater. And it's true that red light does disappear within the first few feet going down in natural things. For example, blood in fish or people at the bottom of the ocean, it's a dark green. Also, red snapper are not red at the bottom of the ocean, they're white. Now, sometimes you'll see red reefs and all this stuff in underwater videos, but that's generally when they have lights in front of their camera, so it's shining and it's bringing out the reds, or they'll put a red filter over their lens. But naturally, you don't see red deep underwater, past the first few feet even. Now, in unnatural things, red does not disappear. Like this red fishing line, it was just a dark red underwater. Also, there's a piece on my BCD that's red, and it still was red at 70 feet down. Now, whereas red line didn't disappear, I did have a fluorocarbon pink tinted line. And the pink is supposed to take advantage of these disappearing red-like properties. Now, with the pink tinted fluorocarbon, it was often very hard to see. Now, looking down, the hardest lines to see were the clear and the tinted fluorocarbon lines. So then, trying to get more of an outward contrast, I held the line straight out and looked through this way into the blue rather than looking towards the bottom of the ocean. Looking out, the hardest ones to see were the clear lines and even the green tinted line. Although the 80-pound fluorocarbon tinted line didn't hide as well as the clearer, smaller lines. Looking up, the 7-strand and the red line were the easiest to see, while the hardest to see were the clear lines and even the bright green. Finally, we went to 15 feet of water and tested how the line looked looking down into the deep blue water. The red and braid line were the easiest to see, and actually the dark 7-strand wire was kind of hard to see. Also, the clear and tinted fluorocarbons did well looking down, but not the bright green. It was a little easier to see. We also did this test in a dirtier green water, and it did affect how it looked. You know, it definitely made the darker tinted color stand out more, and with all the particles, it seemed to make all the lines a little more visible than I'd like. So basically what I learned from this is don't use red line if you're using it so that the fish won't see it, because it was always one of the most visible lines to see. Also, if you're trolling lines, bright color lines are pretty good. You know, clear and bright color lines looking up blend in very well with the bright sky as the background. And I noticed I did a video earlier where we were trolling lures overhead to see what the lures looked like. And the line I was using is a high-vis green, and it was hard to see that line as it was trolling by. Most of the time I couldn't even see the line, I just see the lure coming by. I even called Diamond Fishing Company, who makes a high-vis green and blue fishing line, and they kind of confirmed what I was saying, that the bright colors blend in well looking up, and some other studies it even came up to the same conclusion that I had. Also, remember, there are other reasons for choosing fishing line besides just can the fish see it or not. I like to use high-vis lines when I'm trolling because at the surface I can see where these lines are, if they're tangled or if there's an angler at the bow. I can see where that fishing line is and what direction and how close it is to the boat. Seagar said, for example, with the pink line, one of the reasons people like to use that for a leader is when they're going to leader a fish in, they can see that slightly tinted pink. Braid is also good, even though it's pretty easy to see. It's good for bottom fishing and deep water where you don't want any stretch. You want to be able to feel exactly what's going on at the other end. And it has a small diameter line, so it doesn't blow back as much in the current. I would just recommend putting a top shot of 10 feet of fluorocarbon or some other hard to see line. And then finally, 7-strand also is not very clear underwater. It's pretty easy to see, but it keeps fish with sharp teeth from cutting you off. You'll get more strikes with just mono, but you'll catch more fish with the 7-strand wire because the fish won't bite through it. I asked whether a line being clear is a bad thing, like too clear. I mean, when you think about it, if clear is see-through, why not use clear? Why use color at all? Well, sometimes light can shine on clear, and that light kind of carries it and actually makes it brighter, makes it easier to see. So that's why they use color sometimes. So hope this helps you guys to understand what fishing line looks like and kind of bust some of the myths about red line and stuff like that. If you have any other questions, just let me know. If you'd like to see some more of my videos, there are a couple right here. Thanks for watching.